Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Board of Trustees public hearing. Today's Monday, June 10th, 2024, and I call this meeting to order at exactly 5:30 p.m. Roll call. Dr. Ariel Cruz. Mr. Rudy Corona.
Present.
Mr. Frutoso Gomez.
Present.
Ms. Crystal Hernandez.
Present.
Mr. Alexeina.
Present.
Mr. Israel Varela III.
Present.
Mr. Perez.
Present.
Mr. Tony Torres. Thank you. Let's move on to agenda item 1.2, public comment. Mr. Corona.
The next item on the agenda is public comment. Before we begin, I will remind our audience members of the board's procedures for handling public comments. The public comment portion of our meeting is available to members of the public according to the following. At regular board meetings, the board shall permit public comment regardless of whether the topic is an item on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. At all other board meetings, public comment shall be limited to items on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Anyone who would like to speak during public comment must sign in prior to the start of the meeting and list the topics they want to discuss. An individual's public comment to the board shall not exceed 5 minutes per meeting. Please keep your comments and criticisms civil and courteous. Please avoid using profanity and refrain from making personal attacks on others during your opportunity to speak. We ask that you do not discuss students who are not your own children. In addition, the participating individuals shall adhere to the following. State their full name and what organization or group, if any, is being represented. Indicate the topic about which they wish to speak. Shall refrain from commenting directly on any individual, employer, or public official by name, but may refer to specific employment area, job title, or the board as a whole, and shall refrain from attacks on individuals. Lastly, if after at least one warning from the presiding officer, any individual continues to disrupt the meeting by his or her words or actions, the presiding officer may request assistance from law enforcement officials to have the individual removed from the meeting. If a speaker is seeking board resolution of a specific complaint, that concern should be addressed through the district's grievance process. District policy DGBA has been established for addressing employees' complaints. Policy FNG is the avenue for filing parent complaints, and policy GF addresses community member complaints. Grievance forms can be obtained at any campus administration office or the district central administration office. Thank you. And for the first speaker this evening, we have Ms. Mamie.
Good evening, Mr. Acting Superintendent Perez, President Lopez, members of the board, and members of the community. The public hearing tonight is on the proposed DOI, and one of the things, by the way, I'm Mary Maney. I am a teacher at San Benito High School. I am also coming off of the Superintendent Advisory Committee. So this was my last year on it. I just wanted to bring one thing up that I did want to make sure you were aware of. You probably are, but I just want to make sure that you were aware of. Since we are looking at DOI 21.003, which is dealing with using permits for teachers versus certification, one of the things that was put into this one is having permits for for the CTE things. And one of the things on 2103, it says, unless a person holds an appropriate certificate or permit issued as on there. But 21.055 D1 says that the subsections B, C, D do not apply to a person who will teach only non-core academic CTE courses. they may be issued a district teaching permit. So what you're doing is you are actually doubling up on putting into your DOI something that's already covered in a separate section. So it was just one of these, I just want to make sure that everybody was aware of that so that, you know, as I said, it's just something that seems a little bit redundant. Yes, I know we are talking about governmental laws and stuff like that, which is built in, but I just want to make sure that everybody was aware that that was out there, just so that, you know, if you did have questions about it, you could find out about that. Again, thank you very much. As I said, it was just one of those, just wanted to quickly bring it up and make sure everybody was aware. Have a great day.
Thank you. Okay, now we move on to agenda item number 2, discussion and the renewal of District of Innovation DOI plan for the 2024-2025 school year. Mr. Perez?
Yes, we have Ms. Cornett.
Good evening, everyone. Our initial District of Innovation plan was approved back in April of 2019, considering 2 options for exemption. The first one was the optional school day, the calendar day, so it gives us flexibility on when we want to start our calendar. And we choose to use this because it allows us the flexibility to ensure that we have the same number of weeks available in the fall as opposed to the spring, to allow sufficient time for this testing that we have in the fall and in the spring. The second item was probationary contracts. So when we hire someone who comes with experience, this allows us to give 2-year probationary contracts to allow the administrators sufficient time to kind of see how teachers are working out within their campus. 2-year probationary contract. And then the plan was amended in 2021, and here we included an option to provide an exemption or a certificate to teachers to be able to give them the flexibility to teach high school courses in middle schools. This year, at this time, the only exemptions that we're wishing to add are the one that Ms. Mamie did include, and it's specifically for CTE. We want to make sure that we have that available when we're wanting to expand our CTE courses and we're having a difficult time finding a teacher. We are able to use various factors to look at qualifications for people who maybe have experience, several years of experience working in certain areas, to provide this instruction to our students. And then the other one, it's not necessarily an exemption, but we're wanting to just make sure that we have it here in our District of Innovation plan, that we are recognizing teachers who are providing services to students at the daycares that we are partnering with. Since those teachers at those daycares are not our employees, they're not employed with San Jose ISD, but those children will be dually enrolled. We will be providing them support, we will be providing them professional development, and we simply want to recognize that the teachers in those daycares are following one of the criteria to have them as qualified daycare providers, instructional daycare providers at those daycares. Okay, any questions?
I just had a quick question. You said it has dual enrollment, so are we also taking, so they check in over there first, is that attendance carrying over automatically with us that
Yes,
that
they
account
stay
for
there.
that?
Yes, they stay there all day. And so what we'll be doing in the beginning of the school year in August, when our clerks come back, we're going to be going to these daycare centers, and all the students that are within that grade level with a qualified teacher for that class at the daycare centers, those students will be enrolled in our district. And then we'll go ahead and do the assessments, provide instructional support, and provide professional development.
Is there an approximate amount of students that we're going to be receiving there?
We have a minimum of 12 students per class, and so right now that is our target, and we'll have one class, tentatively, at least one class at each daycare center. It could be more, but right now that's our minimum.
Thank you, Ms. Cornett.
I guess I got a comment. So in theory, what we're doing here with the exceptions pretty much is that we're trying to accommodate all our kids. So we're trying to do everything we can to make sure that we have the educators here educate the kids in all areas
Yes.
of necessity under the District of Innovation.
Right.
Well, that's awesome. I want to thank you and your team so much for doing that, and it's great to see. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Okay, at this moment, I move to adjourn. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please? I have a motion by Mr. Corona. Can I have a second?
Second.
I got a second by Mr. Gomez. All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, we adjourn the public hearing at exactly 5:40 PM. Thank you.